What's going on? This is Big E from G-Riders. Before we get this video started, I would like to take the time out to let you guys know that G-Riders now has merch. You can go get your shirt, go get a shirt just like this one, black with the white lettering. This one's kind of silvery, but mostly it's white lettering. If you like it and you like my channel and you want to support me, definitely click the link down below and go get yourself some G-Riders merch. What's going on? This is Big G from G-Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas with technology. Welcome to the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. The Atlas was introduced for the 2018 model year as a much-needed, almost full-size family crossover with 7/8 seats that was missing in the lineup, and honestly, Volkswagen needed to make something that big because that is a very popular market here in the United States. For the 2021 model year, the Volkswagen Atlas has been refreshed. So there's been some small changes in the configurations, like with the trims and specs and everything like that. And the big news is it has now received actually a facelift. So the Volkswagen Atlas has got the similar face as the Volkswagen CrossSport, which is Volkswagen's new Nissan Murano Ford Edge size crossover, and that face has been applied to the bigger seven-seater regular Atlas, which honestly, this looks way better than the previous one. The previous one looked pretty nice. It still gave me 2005 Chevy Trailblazer vibes. I'll put up a picture of the two different pictures here. Comment down below to see which one you think is better. This is the 2020 Volkswagen Atlas, and all Atlases come standard with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, but this one does not have that 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. So this one has the 3.6-liter V6, which is the optional, and this one makes 276 horsepower and 266 foot-pounds of torque. Since this is a full-size family crossover, this car does weigh about 4,600 pounds. With that 4,600 pounds and the naturally aspirated V6, you can't expect too great a gas mileage. So this gets about 16 in the city and about 20, 22, 23 on the highway or so. But the best I've seen was about 24 on the highway for a consistent period. But the city mileage, I saw a lot worse. I saw about 12 or 13, which is pretty terrible, even with this car size and the class of car. A lot of cars are getting a little bit better than that. So if you don't need to tow anything, this car can tow 5,000 pounds. If you don't need to tow anything, I would look into getting the 4-cylinder turbo so you can get a little bit better gas mileage. You can get that 4-cylinder turbo with all-wheel drive now. This particular one is the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas SE with technology, which is a weird name. I wish they would have just threw all the things that come on this car in the SE package, or do like an SE Plus or something like that, instead of doing an SE with technology. But anyways, the standard Atlas starts at about $31,000, and you get a lot of good standard equipment, but this one is the SE with technology. So this one is basically 2 steps up from the base model. This one comes standard with a couple very, very important things for our class of vehicles. So this one comes with both adaptive cruise control, comes with blind spot monitoring, power liftgate, and remote starter in that technology package. There's a couple more things. I'll put them down here in the lower third, or I'll do a focus pull for everything else that I forgot. But this car, with those couple small options on the car, this does cost about just under $40,000. With the amount of equipment that this has and the size and everything and the interior quality, that's about average for the class. So that's really good that Volkswagen has kind of managed to hit that price point just right. I would like to see Volkswagen do a little bit better on the price, and also do a little bit better with the gas mileage, because, you know, 16 city, 22 highway, that's just not good. Honestly, I think that's what full-size SUVs get nowadays. So, with that being said, let's go and take a look around the exterior of the car, the interior, then head out on the road. Welcome to the walk-around portion of the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. So let's go ahead and start here at the front. So for the 2021 model year, the Volkswagen Atlas got a facelift that made this car look way much better. So now instead of having the kind of the full LED headlights and turn signals and everything, and now it just has LED headlights, which are in there, and then has LED daytime running light strips that go there. If you get higher model, you get the double Ls, which honestly look pretty nice. I'm glad it looks a lot better than it used to look. Honestly, the last one didn't look, it looks good, but not great. It kind of looked like an outdated design from when it came out. And this is the design I think that this car should have had when it first came out. Down below, you do got some nice little functional air vents for some cooling, and then you do got some parking sensors up there in the front that are kind of down there hidden in the grill in the bottom there. So walking on the side of the Atlas, because this is an SC with a technology package, this does come with 20-inch wheels, and I think the 20-inch wheels is a much better look for this size of vehicle. The last one I reviewed was a base SE, and it had the 18-inch wheels, and those looked way too small for the car, and these 20s look just so much better. Let's see. Yep, 20s. So walk around to the rear. I'll put it in the lower third, but I believe the new Atlases come standard with full LED tail lights. For the 2020 model year, and this is something that I talked about on the previous Atlas that I reviewed, the base SE, because you know the Volkswagen Tiguan came with standard LED tail lights, the Jetta came with LED tail lights, the Golfs came with LED tail lights, and the Atlas was the only one that did not come with standard LED tail lights, and yet this is one of the more expensive vehicles and one of the more popular vehicles to buy. Honestly, I think it kind of had to do with they wanted to kind of milk some options back when this car first came out, but now for the 2020 model year, it looks like they came to their senses and they changed that around a bit. So this one, Volkswagen for the 2020 model year changed their font a little bit. So the font's a little bit different than before. The VW badge looks a little bit different than before. And then I say it has that same new font over there on the side as well. And this one is an all-wheel drive SC with technology. So this one, I'm taking a look at the back of this car again, and to me, it gives me the family resemblance of like the Audi Q7. So an Audi Q7 has the same like LED strip that goes underneath the tail lights, and the Atlas has the same thing with those super fake exhaust pipes. Oh, get rid of the fake exhaust pipes. And it's funny because underneath, that's where they actually exit, underneath those fake ones. So just put it through the tips and call it good. Come on, Volkswagen. All right, the gas is on. The gas is on the right side, and this does take 87 regular. And that brings us back to the front. Overall, I think the styling of the Atlas has always been a pretty decent looking vehicle. I think that it's nice and boxy and utilitarian. I think it looks good, and with this new update, it made the car look a little bit more sporty than it did before. And it kind of looks a little bit different than a lot of other vehicles on the road. Honestly, I think it does stand out from all the other crossovers. I mean, I can see a little bit of like Ford Explorer in here somewhere, and some other like boxier SUVs, but for the most part, this looks really good. Because this is the SC with technology, this does have remote start. So to remote start it, got the nice fancy key fob. You lock and click that button twice, and the car starts up and the lights light up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. So since this is a refresh year for the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas, I'm just going to take a quick tour of the interior because a lot of things have not changed, but I'll just show the couple things that have changed, and then we'll head on the road to cut this video so we don't have to make this a 30-minute video. All right, so a couple things. I really like this brown colored door insert. I think it looks really good in contrast with the black. And stepping in the interior, it does have some nice stitching. It does have some nice stitching on the seats and on the center console. Couple things that I've noticed from the different one is the steering wheel. So let's take a look at the steering wheel here. So the Volkswagen steering wheel has been redesigned a little bit. So the Volkswagen steering wheel has been redesigned. It looks a lot cleaner. It looks a lot more modern. It basically is the same design, it's basically the same design like I have in my 2019 Jetta, but it does have the upgraded airbag area, and it has the new style Volkswagen badge and the new steering wheel, and I think it does look really nice. Everything else in here for the most part is the same. So also if you look down there, the car only comes with Type-C USB ports now, and it does have the manual dials and everything for the climate control. The infotainment system is slightly changed. It's the same as, it kind of is really similar to the one that it replaced, except that now it does have like wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is really nice. And everything is really nice in here. You do have the two USB Type-C ports down in the middle. You have another one in the center console, and then come around to the back. You do have another Type-C down there. Another USB Type-C down there. And then your 115 volt outlet, and then some rear climate controls. I'm actually not gonna go ahead and do like a full tour of the car, mainly because the interior is pretty much the same. I just showed you some of the small updates. If you want to see a more detailed tour of the interior of the Atlas, take a look at my 2018 review of this car, and I go into a lot more detail about all the features of the car, and also I get in the rear and the third row of the car, and that shows you a little bit more detail. But with that said, let's go ahead and take it on the road. Welcome to the driving portion of the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. Let's go ahead on the road and see how this thing drives. All right. Head down the road in the Volkswagen Atlas. One thing that I've noticed about this car, that I noticed last time about this car, is this is a really nice driving family SUV. It's quiet enough. The quality of the interior is pretty nice. Like, the new steering wheel feels really nice in the hands. They did some stitching on the inside, and kind of some stitching across the dash and the seats. They kind of did kind of a similar thing before with the Atlas interior, but they made it a lot. Honestly, it just looks a lot better than it used to. I mean, of course, they have to at this point, like with a mid-cycle refresh. I mean, it drives about the same as I remember it driving. Like, so the Atlas is not a sports car or anything like that, but it does handle curves really well. It's not a sports car, like I said, it's not a sports car or anything like that, but it does handle curves really well. It has decent enough power, so that this one has the naturally aspirated V6. I believe this is still the VR6, so when you accelerate, it kind of kicks. It has decent power, and the gearbox responds really nicely too. Yeah, it's not bad on power. It's not like it's faster like or accelerates like anything like one of the Audi SUVs, but it's not bad overall. So this SUV does feel pretty big. It feels like a big crossover, which it is. But like, again, when you're driving out on the roads, it does sometimes shrink around you, but it's footprint wise, this is a pretty big vehicle. I love the seating position in this car. So the seating position is just naturally high. So I can see the corners of the car really easily. The mirrors are big enough so I can see out of the sides really well. You know, the rear view mirror doesn't impede my vision or anything like that. So like, for the most part, this car's driving position is really nice. I like how the dash sits back a little bit further. The dash sits back. I'm glad they didn't make a huge dash. They didn't make a huge dash in this car. They put it back so it gives you lots of space in the car. I love all the little compartments. All the little compartments there are to hold things in the car. Like you have this, like you have the one up here that holds your phone. You also have the one that's down low that's a wireless charger. That I didn't think it was a wireless charger, but it's a wireless charger, which is really nice to have in a car. You know, wireless chargers are really nice to have, especially when the car does wireless CarPlay. But the one weird issue that I kept having with the car is when I put it in the wireless charging pad, when I put in the wireless charging pad when I was using that wireless Apple CarPlay, it would kind of overheat my phone occasionally, which was a little weird and also a little annoying. But you know, maybe it's just something in my phone or whatever. But that was a little annoying. So hopefully you don't experience the same thing with your Volkswagen Atlas's wireless charger pad. So the car is just a pretty nice, solid SUV. You know, but to be honest with you, all SUVs this size have to be pretty solid nowadays. I mean, a lot of people are driving the 7-seater crossover instead of buying full-size SUVs just because, you know, maybe they don't want to drive a big full-size SUV, or they can't quite financially swing a big full-size SUV. But just the quality of the interior, of the build, fit and finish of the interior is really nice, and it always has been. So what else is there to say about the Atlas? The Atlas is a nice driving, really comfortable, really good-looking SUV. So, what are some things I don't like about it? So, the couple things that I don't like about it is the gas mileage. Like, the gas mileage is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. You know, you should be getting much better than what this car delivers in terms of miles per gallon. I think that at this point, cars should be getting at least, you know, 18, 19 in the city and mid-20s on the highway. The fact that this is getting like mid-teens and low 20s on the highway, that's a little unacceptable, especially with even with this being the V6. I think a lot of other V6 models get much better MPG than that. And honestly, like, as I reiterate, I mean, this car's not even really fast. Like, it has enough. It has enough, but it's not a fast car. So, like, you know, having that absolutely horrendous gas mileage is unacceptable at this point. And honestly, I'm surprised Volkswagen hasn't decided just to only make the 4-cylinder turbo, and I think they should probably move towards that, because I think that's a lot better engine than this big old V6 that's in here. So the other thing I don't like is that I had weird issues with the adaptive cruise control systems. So I was driving along the other day in the rain on the highway, and next thing you know, the car just starts accelerating forward, and there was a car in front of me, and then next thing you know, and then I had to slam on the brakes, and basically the car was just saying, "Oh, adaptive cruise control is not working right now," which is, you know, kind of unacceptable, because, you know, Volkswagen Group's been putting adaptive cruise controls in cars for a long time at this point. So this one having random issues, it's kind of unacceptable. And it's honestly the first time I've ever experienced a car, like all the cars I've reviewed with adaptive cruise controls, the first time I've experienced a car's adaptive cruise control just not work. So was a little disappointing, but that's not a huge deal. But if you depend on your adaptive cruise control when you're like driving in traffic and things like that, that's kind of unacceptable. But this is a full speed adaptive cruise control system, so this car can't come to a stop on its own and go on its own. And also, this is a really petty thing, is I don't like that this car only comes with Type-C USB ports. I know that everything's moving towards Type-C nowadays, but it'd be nice to at least give me one regular USB port. But again, those are all like, some of those are small complaints, some of those are major complaints. But overall, the Volkswagen Atlas is a pretty good 7-seater family SUV. They've done a great job with it. It drives really nice. It's really comfortable. You know, you guys know I'm over 6 feet tall, over 350 pounds, and this is actually one of the most comfortable crossovers in this class. I put this in comfort up there with like the Dodge Durango and what other crossovers? I haven't driven any that's I'll put this comfort level up there with like the Dodge Durango and the Ford Explorer, especially if you're a little bit bigger and taller like I am. And you know, that's a very high compliment because those are some of the most comfortable of the crossovers this size. So Volkswagen did a great job building a nice big family crossover, and I understand that that's probably why it gets such horrible gas mileage, because it's big. But you know, a lot of the other competitors managed to get better even with the size and the weight. So that's just what I want to see from Volkswagen, a little bit better. So, you know, if you're looking at getting a family crossover, should you get an Atlas? Well, I think you should at least look at it. I think it does have some really good qualities, and I think there's some things that they need to work on still in order to make this vehicle even better than it is already. I know that this vehicle just came out, and I know this vehicle is relatively new, and you know, it's been out for a while, but there's a couple things that Volkswagen needs to work on in the redesign to make this even better than it already is. I would say I would rate this in the middle in terms of of the pack in terms of where the other family crossovers are. I think that there are crossovers that are way better than this, like for instance, like the Explorer, and there are some that are way worse there are some crossovers that are worse than this, like the Pathfinder. So, you know, I think that Volkswagen built a very solid SUV here, but they still have a little bit more work to do, and honestly I would have liked to see some of those improvements come with this mid-cycle refresh on this model. But I can't wait to see what they do with the next generation. I definitely think if you're looking at a family crossover, definitely take a look at this one. And honestly, take a look at all of them, because you never know which one you're gonna like the best. But I do like it, no matter how kind of semi-negative I'm sounding about it. I do actually really like it. It's really comfortable. It's really comfortable. It has a lot of good space. It looks really good. It has a lot of good features, especially with this SE with technology. I think the SE with technology should be the SE, and that's it, instead of having to add a whole nother package to it. I think this is the package. You should not get any less than this particular model right here, unless you can't really swing anything better. But overall, this is a very good car, and if you're looking at a 7-seater family crossover, you should definitely take a look at the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. Now, if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, keep riding me. Thanks for watching.